Media mob is melting down tonight after Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin and the state's new leadership, they're actually following through on their campaign promises, like ending, draconian mask mandates and standing up to indoctrination in schools, actually giving parents a say in their kids' education, and standing up against one-size-fits-all medicine with the failed fake news fraud, Jimmy Acosta, fake news Acosta. Well, this is somehow similar to the former Soviet Union. Take a look.
In office in less than 2 weeks, and Governor Glenn Youngkin has already set up an email tip line for parents to report teachers for teaching, quote, divisive subject. I seem to remember Glenn Youngkin campaigning in a fleece vest in Virginia. He was running as a different kind of Republican. I was told there was going to be a vest, not a Soviet-style police state across the Potomac from Washington.
There's fake news. Acosta, Soviet-style police state, giving students and parents freedom whether to mask is actually, Jimmy, the opposite of a Soviet police state. Embracing freedom of thought, standing up to left-wing propaganda, indoctrination is literally the opposite of a Soviet police state. Imagine living in a far-left bubble that you actually think individual freedom is something that is evil. But, of course, it didn't stop there. As extreme far-left singer John Legend, he's now calling on his followers to flood a new Virginia tip line for parents to blow the whistle on CRT being taught in schools. The leadership in Virginia, they're standing strong. They're doing what they said they would do. Here with reaction, the Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares is back with us. I remember a moment in the campaign against Terry McAuliffe where Glenn Youngkin actually said, no, parents should have a say in their kids' education. And I remember probably the biggest blunder of the campaign when Terry McAuliffe said they shouldn't have a say in their kids' education. Mr. Attorney General, am I right on that recollection?
Well, thanks, Sean. You're exactly right. I mean, what the entire campaign, a lot of what it was, is saying parents matter, and voters responded to that. And I think what Jim Acosta said, I mean, listen, my family fled communist Cuba, the Miyares family. You want to talk about what Soviet style looks like? It's the opposite of freedom. I mean, my mother has distinct memories of being forced to take classes in Marxist-Leninism, of seeing her brother, my uncle Angel Miyares, getting arrested in the middle of the night by Castro's secret police with no due process, no sense of Bill of Rights, of seeing their family home nationalized, all in the name of fairness and equity. So clearly, Jim Acosta maybe needs to take some history classes of what Soviet-style communism actually looks like. And that's the opposite. What we have said is parents matter. Listen, if you're a parent, Sean, and you want to mask your child for 6, 7, 8 hours a day, you absolutely have that right. That's your individual decision. But if you're also a parent with a child that has asthma or a child who has glasses that are constantly fogging up, you also have that right. And that's what a pluralistic society looks like. Recognize other people are going to come to different conclusions. And by the way, when you reference Terry McAuliffe, the Code of Virginia says parents have a fundamental right to the upbringing and well-bringing of their children. And the great irony of all this, Sean, is in Soviet-style communist states like Cuba, the state diminishes parents. They say your loyalty is to the state and parents have less control. This is about parental empowerment. This is exactly what you just said. This is what freedom looks like. Let's parents make these decisions, not a one-size-fits-all for everybody in every school. And that's exactly what we're doing, and that's what we're standing with parents against these far-left school boards that are ignoring the voices of the parents.
And the governor made a promise he would end critical race theory being taught in school. Now, maybe I'm old-fashioned. I went to 12 years of Catholic schools, and I had a uniform every one of those years. And I don't know, we pay more per capita per student than any other country in the industrialized world to educate our kids. We come in anywhere between 37 and 42nd worldwide. We're not getting any bang for our buck. Maybe being old-fashioned, I would think reading, writing, math, science, computers, maybe that ought to be the first priority of educating our kids, and make sure that our standardized testing goes up and that every kid is proficient in all of those subjects. Wouldn't that be a better plan?
A much better plan. And listen, what Governor Youngkin and I heard throughout the campaign talking to Virginia parents is they were concerned. Nobody we met said, do not teach the dark chapters of American history. Don't teach slavery and don't teach Jim Crow. They said teach all of history. And we are indeed that last best hope on earth. It's the same last bet hope that gave a second chance to my family. And I've said before, America has given more second chances to more people from more backgrounds, more faiths, more races, and more creed than any country in the history of the world. That also is what we should be teaching our kids, that we're that last best hope on earth. There is no other country like us. And if you don't believe me, Sean, go to your local courthouses, sit in the back of the room and watch the naturalization ceremonies. The people in those rooms, they understand this is a unique, special place. They cherish freedom. That's exactly what we should be teaching our kids. And you're right, our numbers right now with the shutdown of our schools, our math scores, our reading scores, it has been devastating for so many children in Virginia and across this country. It's time we get back our kids back in school. We let parents decide what's happening with the mask, teach them the basic. As Governor Youngkin loves to say, we want to teach them what to think, not how to think. That's what we're talking about in Virginia, and we're ready to get started.
Explain the tip line really quickly. If parents have a problem in their school system, who will go through that tip line and look into matters that might be serious?
Listen, all this is saying is parents have a right if they find out there's something that's really concerning them, and we're seeing school board after school board in Loudoun and all over that candidly are just ignoring parents' voices. They're not allowing them to speak. In some cases, parents are getting arrested. We're saying, listen, we believe in accountability and transparency in government. That's all we believe in. And the idea is allowing parents to have a voice, one more voice, where they can actually express their concerns. And so that would obviously go to the Youngkin administration. But the whole idea of this is parental empowerment. And if school boards are ignoring their parents, we're going to try to give them as many avenues whatsoever. And this is no different than when school boards accept email solicitation of what's going on from the general public. We're just saying, listen, we just want to know what's going on. Give us the information. If you're concerned, hey, just let us know. This is about parental involvement and parental empowerment, and that's our goal here.
All right. We appreciate, Mr. Attorney General, you being back with us. When we come back, proof the left is more concerned with Ukraine's border than our own. Plus, exclusive reporting from Sarah Carter and Julio Rosas exposing the Biden administration, what they really think about the crisis on our southern border. We've got an update you won't get anywhere else.